Huzzah!
Huzzah!
We're back for more wonderful awards. I did our own music cue. So what we're talking about right now is going to be the Most Improved Award, which I would argue is our most important award in the entire league. So a lot of people hear the prestige of the MVP, and they think it is the highest peak of a mountain. But the Most Improved Award is huge because it shows growth, and that is what the entire league is all about, is being able to grow as a performer. If you come in out the gate and you're amazing, and you finish amazing, awesome, you've always been amazing. But if you came out the gate, you're a little shyer, a little quieter, and then one day, all of a sudden, you are like the coolest person of all time, we're like, oh my goodness, that guy's awesome, I would totally drink a soda pop with him on a Saturday. You're like, wow, that's cool. And that's kind of what this award is all about. It just gives that credit to who are the people that have made the most growth within a certain amount of time. Whether it be this season, whether it be throughout your entire time, whatever it may be, it is giving credit to you. And be so proud of yourself. Do you have something you want to say about Most Improved before we get into the nominees?
You covered everything.
So, for our first performer for Most Improved, you've heard their name a lot this season. I think if you've watched any show that they've been in, you've giggled at least 13 times. Coming straight from Milwaukee, it's Doc.
Doc's not actually from Milwaukee.
No, but Doc is from Del Sol. Yes, so the reason why we brought up Milwaukee with Doc is if you've seen Doc in the show,
this is a Milwaukee shoplifter, is what that bit was.
Doc says things that I'm not sure make sense, but they're always the funniest thing you've heard ever.
It's a string of words you've never concocted in your head.
Yeah.
But they are concocted in their head.
Yes, and Doc tends to come in with like, this reminds me of the Milwaukee shoplifter, and you're like, oh no. I'm curious if we're going to see the Milwaukee shoplifter, or we're just going to hear about them.
Or like, just any mild reference to like, Vietnam, I was there. And it's like...
Doc plays characters who have been through it.
And it's so good. The reason Doc is on this list, because if you're sitting here and you're like, what are you talking about? This kid, at like because I've been watching Doc since he was a freshman to now. Freshman year Doc is a far cry from where he is now. Because he is just like, he used to be so shy and awkward on stage, where now he's more confident and he says all these crazy shenanigans all the time. And you're like, what are you on about? But it's so confidently done that you're giggling and you're laughing.
Yeah.
And Doc also has this thing where he just loves to perform with everyone. And like, I think if you ever have done a show with Doc just likes to have fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the epitome of improv. I like to say this a lot, where if you're having fun on stage, we're having fun with you.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer when it comes to performance-wise confidence, and anyone who really grows in confidence, I think, is just, you'll notice like a light and day difference. Once you like believe in yourself, like improv-wise, you'll notice how big of a jump you can make, and it's huge every single time, and Doc is a perfect example of that. Being able to go from saying Milwaukee quietly to going the Milwaukee corn maze shoplifter of 1937. You're like, wow, that is a person. You know what I mean? That guy existed, and I want to know everything. But that's a lot of what Doc is just this ability to throw out 100 different words, but you want to know what all of them meant because it was so entertaining when you heard it. And that shows that growth, right? From being able to just say things where you go, huh? That was funny. I'm confused. To going, huh? That was funny.
Tell me more.
Exactly. And that is huge. So Doc, welcome to the Most Improved list. All of you performers that are on this list, be so proud of yourselves.
Yes.
You guys all did amazing jobs. Over at number 2, a former Rookie of the Year nominee, the one, the only, Christian, over at Valley High School. Oh my goodness.
What a character.
This guy.
This guy.
If
If you've ever been to a Wildcard show, you have always heard someone in the audience yell out that they want to see Cobra Kai in a scene. And this is Christian.
Christian's improvement was going from making only Flash references to making only Cobra Kai references. No, that is not it.
That's not true.
Christian Oh my goodness. So Christian has always been one of those performers who's like that firecracker, that like performer where they come out, they can say a bunch of crazy stuff, make you laugh, and you're like, ha ha ha, what's going on? Christian now has kind of honed it where it like makes sense in the scene now. So Christian now has an ability to like really like build the scene as opposed to just build the funny, right? I think there's all these different elements that go into an improv scene, whether it be scene work, relationships, and even just the humor is always a big one, right? And a lot of teams have a kid who is just humorous, right? Super, super funny. You hear a joke from them, you go, ha ha ha, so funny. Christian always had that. But Christian has found the ability to get that into the scene, and now it's building the scene with that humor. It just is the perfect blend. And Christian, you have managed to learn that art. So, magnifico props towards you. Be so proud of yourself.
I also want to throw out that you are a sponge on stage.
Yes.
You are one of those performers where someone will throw something at you, you'll catch it and do it tenfold. We mentioned this with Honor in the last video about their dime store novel where they just kept throwing things out. Christian was the person who caught every single thing Honor threw at them.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones.
They performed too.
Yeah. No, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yes,
That's when they performed together.
Yes.
They did the scene where they were coming in, they had a character, and then Honor's like, you're a downbeat dad, and just automatically jumps straight into it, and I'm like, oh, that's a mark of such a great performer who like knows how to listen and knows how to throw it all in there. You're just amazing, and it's just so fun to
Hearing
watch.
downbeat dad and Christian instantly going, yeah, I'll do it later, and then laying down on the chairs, I was like, that is as peak as you can get into that character as possible. And Christian, like me just said,
great.
Sponge, you are so good. Be so very proud of yourself. It has been an honor coaching you in the past, and it is a wonderful thing to see what Izzy has been able to do in being able to bring you out to your fullest potential. So Izzy, massive credit to you as well as a coach. Over at Secta, this is a performer that was so close to being on Most Improved last year, and it is so great to see them on here now. Matilda. Oh my goodness.
If you've ever been to a Wildcard show and you hear someone in the audience yell out Postal, this is Matilda.
Yes. Yeah. You'll notice a lot of these performers
have a very specific suggestion they like to throw out.
But they also live this. And Matilda, from the jump this season, I could tell that Matilda was going to be a performer that was going to be in a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
Considering Matilda performed most of the shows in the first week. First week, Matilda performed in 3 shows and cooked in every single one of them.
And was in the first Wildcard show this
as
year.
the only student in that show on top of that. So not having any idea what to expect, considering everyone on stage had no idea what to expect in that show as well, Matilda, you've held your own at every single facet. And I remember watching you last year, and it was one of those ones where you always had that potential, right? It was always there. You could see it, but I don't think it really like bursted until this season when it really came out. And we've seen how much you can truly do. I don't know if it's one of those things that you've always had it in practice. It was just a matter of getting the confidence to be able to do it on stage, because you did say that, I think, during a preseason show. You were like, oh yeah, I'm terrified, or something like that. And like, I think you were talking about that before the Wildcard show too, that you just didn't really believe in yourself. And I was like, Matilda, you've been cooking all day, and you're about to go into like this show. I don't understand how you don't believe in yourself up to this point. You've cooked. And then proceeded to cook even harder. I was like, whoa, this gumbo tastes amazing. And that is what you've had the ability to do though. So I just seeing where you were last year, where you were a performer where I was like, this kid can do something. And then seeing you now, and I'm like, this kid is doing something, and it's awesome. Matilda, massive props to you. Be so proud of yourself.
Massive props. Also, I've noticed this, and I don't know if you've noticed it in yourself, but I've noticed it. Your confidence has spiked up so much through the whole season. Because I remember that first week, you're like, I'm really nervous. I don't know if I can do this. To like the next show where you're like, I want to be in this. It's like the same thing with Roman, where Roman's like, I'm scared. And then Roman's now like, I want to be in everything. Matilda, you're the same way where you were scared, but now you just want to be in everything. And seeing that drive and that passion and that want to just do it, that's everything we could ask for. And I'm so excited to see you next year, hopefully, to see how much further you go from here.
True. I believe, I want to say Ethan is a senior. So with Ethan graduating, Matilda, you being able to take the reins for Secta and see how far it goes, I would love to see it. Once you get into that leadership role. So curious where you go with it. You've been doing so good this season.
Believe in yourself.
And I only want to see more of you next season. And maybe I'll get Postal into a scene that you're actually in, even though I refuse to do so, and I only say it whenever I know you're not in the audience. Looks like someone has to be at more shows. Then you'll never hear it.
I'll never hear it.
So this last one for our most improved list, it is a curious case because usually with most improved, we have also like a coach to be able to talk to or something like that to be able to learn more from you as a performer. But this last one is a very curious case where this person hasn't been coached by anyone this season. Well, I mean, the occasional like, dang, you're doing good, dog. But like, it's
or
never,
going to the workshops.
or going to the workshops, which you may be at right now.
Also, if you've never been to a workshop, go to the workshops.
Very, very good. You learn big person knowledge. But massive, massive props to this performer. They already know it's them. Most of the people, I think, around the league figure out it's them because they're always wearing a shirt that just reps exactly where they're from. From Desert Oasis.
Emma.
I mean, the ability where I've seen, I don't know if you just always had this ability in you to be absolutely amazing, but you've been absolutely amazing. And it is one of those things where the ability to grow without being taught is insane.
Absolutely insane.
Because a lot of these performers, they get to grow, but they're constantly getting new information, new things to learn upon and be able to grow. Emma, I don't know how often you get to do that, right? I don't get to give you notes. I don't know how many other coaches get to give you notes or anything like that. So it's really like, I think you're just absorbing whatever you get at the end of a show.
I think it's a mark of a really good performer, or just person in general, just being to be super observational and apply that knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's something I notice you do, where you see something in a show and then you apply it to your performance, or you see something that a coach is saying and you apply it to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that is super awesome to see.
Yeah, that goes alongside with that note of like, be at shows, right? Watching shows, you'll learn more, you'll be able to perform and do even more, right? I did one thing in a preseason show, I've seen that same character pop up like 4 times, and I'm like, how does this keep happening? Roman's scared somewhere. Host Roman. But yes, Emma, you are so very good, and I think it is that ability to just observe and just spew it out. You know what I mean? You've done it every single time. Super good. Just be so proud of yourself. Absolute massive
You're
props.
awesome, dude. You're so awesome.
And I want to say that will be a wrap on our most improved lists, which you can see right here.
Bam!
However, if you want to know who wins this award, you have to go to Chaparral High School April 12th, where we will be having Championship Day, award shows, and then the Championship Show. Wow.
And the All-Star Show.
And the All-Star Show. Wow.
And the Coaches Show.
Wow.
There's a lot going on that day.
There's a lot. Be there.
You don't want to miss it.
I don't know.
Swear.
Be rectangular. Bye-bye.
Bye.